What is going all terrain? What is going on, all terrain nation? Is your buddy Dave, and we got Danny over there on the West Coast. So, if you like pickup trucks, SUVs, and lawnmowers, whatever else we can figure that you take off road or have fun with, this is your channel to be on. And young Daniel, buddy, what is going on, man? We ain't seen you in a couple weeks.
What's up? What's up? Yeah, I've been, out in doing the adventure life, vacation, racing, doing all kinds of stuff. So I've been having a good time. How you been, Dave?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Besides posting up a video that it seems like the Ford Bronco guys don't like, I'm doing all right. So if you guys don't know, I dropped a video today on this channel of my thoughts of the Ford Bronco, their off-road version bumper that they've put on the current Bronco. Now whether it makes it to production, I don't know, man. But it's a little nut and bolty for my taste. And you post that in a Bronco group on Facebook, and suddenly you're the demon spawn of hell. I've never seen like the Brocore like hit me up so hard before. It was crazy, Danny.
What was the main complaint? That it was off-road capable or something? Or
no, it's so these Bronco pages right now, they are something funny, man. So I'm in one that's got over 30,000 people in it. And that was since they opened up Bronco in June or July, whenever that was. And it's just full of a bunch of mall crawler guys and just people that have no real experience in off-roading. I would say out of the 30,000, maybe 1,000 in there have actual off-road, that are going to take and buy a Bronco and go have fun with it.
But not just like a fire road.
Yes, but when you compare the new Bronco to a Rubicon bumper, they just do not like that. And suddenly it turned into I was clickbaiting, I was a troll. It was quite funny. And then they finally deleted it because
It started getting haterade.
Yep.
Too much haterade in there.
Let's see.
What are you gonna do?
We got a cast of characters in here so far, Danny. We've got Expedition Outfitters. We got Raul. We got Joe Taylor. We've got Ramesh is in here, and I'm sure a few others will pop in here. I'm looking for Frank is who I'm looking for, because this video was all for Frank. Frank's been bugging me, Danny, for about 4 weeks to do one on the F-150, and
yeah. Well, there's a lot about the F-150. As far as there's a lot of, in true Ford style, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of, from mild to wild as far as, what you can get in it and stuff. So there's definitely a lot to talk about on it. Some of the other brands, they don't get quite so ridiculous. So, there's a lot to talk about, whether it's engine choice or bed size or tow capacity. Ford's
I'm sorry. Maybe some of that leads into why these Bronco dudes are such kind of jerks, man. Because like Ford, they're jerks about motor options. The Bronco only has 2 options. Well, the F-150, it's like you can get 57 different options depending on what day it is. So maybe that's part of their deal. I don't know.
Yeah, they've been. I think they've been kind of spoiled a little bit.
Oh,
they need a 10-year-old truck for a little while,
right?
Then they'll appreciate all the stuff that they're getting.
Right. Well, Frank B is in the house. Finally, Frank is here. Frank,
Frank B. What's up?
This video is for you, buddy. So, it's gonna be full of. We're all learning together, because once again, me and Danny, we've covered the Nissan brand for those that are new to this for quite a long time, but it's not like we don't know other brands, and we just don't know them in the great details like fans of them might. And I see Danny looks like reaching in the refrigerator over there.
I was just checking my stock before we got it deep into it. I wasn't sure if I was going to need to reach in. My wife poured me a glass of wine when she had some. So
well, hey, pinky's
talking
up,
trucks with a glass of wine isn't exactly the ideal scenario for the show.
And to everybody, right off the bat, Danny, cheers, buddy.
Cheers, bud. What do you got? I'm guessing you're down on the whiskey right now.
I'm on the whiskey, buddy.
Well, cheers. I wish I had a whiskey right now. But
well, first off, Danny, how is California, man? Everything we know of liberal California is like it's either you're hating on the police or there's fires, man. So let's not get into the politics of it. But how's the fires doing over there?
Still raging. It's orange outside. It's extremely orange outside. I was out in El Paso, and it was actually great weather out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I came back here and rough to come back. Air is still, so it's not like there's like a breeze blowing it out to sea or blowing it away or anything. And it's humid. I think it's just kind of it's just dank. I think is the perfect word. When you go outside, you just feel dank. It's not crazy hot, but it's just danky.
Right.
Without the haze, it would be the most beautiful day ever, but it's kind of ruining Christmas for us, or ruining summertime.
Well, yeah, everything, and you're not even close to the fires, right?
Not really.
Not this time, like you were
No,
last
for the
year.
most part, yeah. Last year they were literally like a mile away. Now they're not close, but it's just, basically all of California's got this haze over it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
it is what it is.
I was watching a Casey Neistat video today, and he's in L.A. now, and dude, it was like he was showing video and just in L.A. down by the pier and stuff, and it was just like creepy hazy. Yeah, it's you guys, I guess you guys have it so good with the weather, no like bugs or things that really bother you when you go outside. This is something you just have to put up with every once in a while, right?
Yeah, for sure. And Frank B asked how the race went. The race did not go great. We actually took I'll give a quick recap. I want to do a long recap on our other show, the Nissan Nation production show. I'll do a full race recap, hopefully with Dan. But just a quick rundown is, we got the truck teched, and we did the day before we ran it a little bit, and it was doing pretty good. But once we started the race, we were about 12 miles in when we think there was some kind of problem going with the drive shaft and the trans mount. We never quite resolved it. We brought it in and tried to shim the trans mount, and then we sent it out, and it went about 7 miles and came back, and we got a late start, and it was dark at that time, and the drive shaft center link looked like it was all tore up. That rubber on it was tore up. So we don't know exactly, if what came first, the chicken on the egg on that scenario, whether it was a trans mount that messed up the drive shaft, or the drive shaft was causing the trans mount, or whatever. But there was some problems, and we ended up calling it because it would pop out of gear all the time, and it was shaking violently. So kind of a depressing scenario, especially for Dan, who drove all the way out from New Hampshire. We did
Yeah.
have a lot of good time leading up to it, spending some time in the desert playing around with the truck a little bit. So we did have a good time, but I'll talk about that on another show. But it was fun but sad. We wanted to do a lot better than that, but what are you gonna do?
Well, yeah, and I mean but that's racing, right? Like
That's desert racing. Well, and that's desert racing in a rally truck too. That there's a lot of things that in a desert truck like my truck, that a lot of things on my truck that are built just 3 times more heavy duty, because that's the kind of stuff you do, that may not be on a rally truck. And I think some of that was part of the problems. Is there? I think maybe a rubber bushing where on a regular purpose built desert truck is going to be a solid mount thing. So I think there's some of that, and it could have just been the first part of the race is all whoops. So it could have been that thing's just flexing. Maybe there's some movement in those rubber bushings and stuff, and it's just started, kind of exacerbating the problem on both sides.
well, it was I did enjoy your pre-run video that you put on your channel, DeGroot X, man. That was pretty fun to see.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm editing kind of a and I wish I got better footage of the truck, but due to the fact that we only went so long on the race course, and we were doing short trips, that I didn't get a ton of footage of the truck actually bounced around the desert. But I'm gonna put out a full kind of race recap of of what we were there doing and whatnot. You should see that in a day or two, and then as well, on the Nissan Nation Productions, we'll drop a walk around on the truck.
Nice,
So you
nice.
can kind of see exactly how it's built and what's going on with it and stuff.
Well, Dan's a good dude, man. So it's a bummer that he might have had.
Yeah, he's a great dude. It was a lot of fun hanging out with him. He's a nice guy, and hat tip to him. Thanks for letting me come out and just spend the time.
Well,
A little bit of time with the truck and whatnot.
well, how is it? Because me and you haven't got to do. I was in Chicago for the auto show, and other than that, I haven't got to do any events this year. And this is kind of the first time you've kind of ventured out, right?
Yeah, it's the first. Yeah, I think event is probably the best word for it, and that's why Dan the truck brought the truck out to Texas, is because it's one of the only, other than like some Southern California stuff that's like low key stuff. It's the only thing kind of in between the east or the west and east coast that's racing. So
Right.
that's one of the reasons why he did that trek, is because all the rally races are closed down. So
Well, because Mint didn't happen this year, correct?
it did, but it was weird. And then and then usually there's a big gap during the middle of summer. So
Yeah. Yeah, because it really gets too hot, right?
yeah, but they did Vegas to Reno in August, which is always, it's 113. That happened. But again, all the rally races are what he normally races, and so. But I haven't been out because I need to focus on getting my race truck built. And just going out and racing with him makes me, it relights a fire. Every time I go and do something like this, it relights a fire to get my truck done. So I'm
Right.
really, and on top of that, my race partner came out with me, and I got him in the truck for just a little bit to get him that was his first time in a race truck.
Oh, so he
So
got to get in it, right?
He got a tiny little taste of what it's like.
So was he co-piloting with you when you got to get in the truck for a test?
No, somebody else rode with me when I went out and got a feel for the truck, and then he rode with Dan. While Dan raced it around a little bit, which is probably better because Dan knows the truck a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. I think it'll help light a fire under both of us to, dig deep into the pockets.
well, good, Dan. So, but tonight is not about racing Xteras or Broncos or anything else, Danny. Tonight is about the 2021 Ford F-Series, I guess just F-150 reveal that they did in June. And I had told Frank B, or I'd mentioned this several shows back, and Frank kept bugging me of why I thought that the reveal wasn't great. And it, unfortunately, just timing. It's like Jeep dropped the Wagoneer last week, and I needed to talk about that a little bit. And let me tell you, Jeep Wagoneer, Danny, you didn't miss anything, because that's really not. I mean,
I barely paid attention. It's a full concept thing. It looks like a Navigator kind of, Chevy Tahoe kind of a thing, and I wasn't interested much.
Yeah, me either, buddy. Me either. But
some of the price tags that I saw people throwing around, and like the projected, people guessing at price tags, basically.
Well,
Ford
or Jeep actually came out and said that they wanted it, I think it was starting at 60, and they wanted it to be over $100,000, man.
Yeah, I'm like, get out of here, dude. For a Jeep, get out of here.
Right.
It better be all Mercedes parts in that song, but
right. Which unfortunately it's not. And the weird thing too with that is, we will get into F-150, but the weird thing with that is Jeep and FCA is going through a merger with Pinot or Peugeot, however you say it.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
Peugeot,
yeah.
And that just makes it kind of weird that they're developing trucks that they may not.
There's all kinds of mergers going on right now. There's a lot of companies. I think part of it is because of electric vehicles, and they kind of, there's the GM. What is it? Is it GMC or Chevy? I can't remember. Same thing, whatever.
Well, they're gonna build
the Nikola, or the Nikola Badger.
Yeah,
that's popping out. There was another one too. Was it Honda?
Well, Honda and GM, or they're going to do a partnership.
Honda and GM, maybe GM wants them to make all their passenger cars. We don't know the nuts and bolts of it, but there's a lot of working together kind of things going on that it's very interesting in automotive news. So
right, no doubt on that. But let's get into F-150 talk, and guys, load your questions up, because once again, I mean, Danny and I, we know vehicles, but if you're a fan of one particular vehicle, you probably know it a little better, or you may have a deeper question or an idea behind it than we do.
I'm expecting Expedition Outfitters Raul to I wanted to get him on tonight. It was a little bit last minute because I was planning on not being here because I was going to come in at 5:30 tonight, but I wanted him on here because he follows this stuff a lot closer than we do. Well, at least up until now, we're following stuff a lot closer now. But he's on Instagram. I think he's at Overland F-150, but he's a diehard Ford guy. Just like we've done Nissan stuff, so we know Nissans pretty well. But I was trying to get him on. He wasn't able to come on, but hopefully he can fact check us in the chat. So if we mess up, I'm sure he's gonna weigh in. And Raul, you're in charge of fact checking and giving us your chats.
And I have I took notes today, and I broke some of this down. But first off,
I got a couple web pages opened up to make sure that I can double check, and we can go through some of this stuff as well. So
right.
Hopefully we'll be on the point.
I'm gonna break into why I thought the reveal wasn't as great as it could be. So first off, I'm gonna go with Dennis Leary. He's the voice of the F-150 commercials, which is whatever. I don't care. I don't care who the voice of it is.
No, I like him as far as a voice.
I
like him as far as a voice.
I'm not gonna crap on the dude for. I'm just saying. I'm just saying he was the host of this reveal, and it was like somewhere in between a normal car show reveal and some horribly high school produced musical with then you dump COVID in the middle of it, where they all have to be like 20 feet apart. So you come out.
There was some of that.
You come out, Danny, and there's all these cargo box containers. They're all blue, Ford blue, and the big Ford logo and stuff on it. And Dennis Leary comes out, and I was almost expecting a monologue, like he was going to do some comedy while he was there, and start throwing out the jokes a little bit. But it's a serious deal, and I'm sure Ford paid him serious money to be there and do this for him. But even before he comes out, there's all this crap on the screen talking about participants were as safe as possible. They were all 6 feet apart. And I'm like, yeah, on camera, they're 6 feet apart. Then behind the camera, they're all just like we all do. Like,
well, that was the reveal was deep in, like, now everybody's kind of like, I mean, you kind of see a big
and this was
towards, there's some people are kind of just like whatever anymore. Some people aren't, but they were right in the, we have to do this because this is the socially thing. If we don't do this, we're going to get
later, Joe Taylor.
So hard. Yeah, see you, Joe. Thanks for stopping by, bud. But they knew that they were going to get hosed hard and probably get Twittered to death or something stupid like that. So
yeah.
But that aside, an overall impression of it was, I don't think that they had quite prepared to do it like that, and they kind of had a little bit of this throw together. There was a little bit of a throw together feel to it. On one hand, I think they did the best that they could with technology and the time frame and whatnot. The production that they had. There was some decent production value, and then there was some that was. It seemed like it was.
Yeah. So there was definitely, like, you can tell they probably filmed a lot of this right before COVID really hit, and there was some well done. They show in the plant and stuff, and they're talking to people that build the truck, and it's kind of neat. They go through people that build it, then they go down to the dealers, and then just salespeople, and then into service people, and then they had a little bit of mix of Hispanic people. Like, it was a very diverse video, and in this day and age, it's hard to say I like diversity, but sometimes it just feels forced in these things.
Yeah, I love how you're like, did they literally just count out how many white, Hispanic, black, Chinese, or
right?
Eastern
Once again,
European people or something like that.
Like, I don't care, but
nothing wrong with that. But I hate where it's like they forced it, right?
It's like a bingo. It's like a bingo card checklist that you've got to go through.
But just put in the people that you want in there.
So the goofy social distancing, and I'm going through my notes on this, that, dude, like, Dennis Leary's trying to talk to the guy that developed the truck and everything, and they're so far apart. Like, it's like me and Danny. It's what it feels like is I'm in Tennessee and Danny's in California, except we need to scoot the videos way far apart, and it would be about the same. Like, it just didn't feel comfortable. Now, I will say this too. It was Ford's first, a lot of manufacturers didn't know how to present. How do you go digital with this and do it? The manufacturers are used to car shows.
Yes.
They've got the bones of that. They know how to do that, and so they were trying to give that feel, but yet do it digitally, and it was a little silly. Then there were some goofy interviews, Danny, and I swear they were 10 foot apart. They weren't just 6 foot; they were 10 foot apart.
Yeah. They were overextending.
And out of the video, Frank, it was 43 minutes long, and there wasn't 7 to 8 minutes of actual information in the whole video. Like if you were watching this thing live, it just had to rip your soul out to sit here and go, I would just want to know some details about it. And at the end, guess what? They didn't give you a ton of details except some cool videos. And here, I'm going to pop I'm gonna go ahead and pop one of these videos, guys. You can play along here and see. This is just some B-roll footage that I got from Ford. But Danny, it's a good looking truck, but I'm a little disappointed with the running lights that they did, because it's not a copy of GMC, but there's a look to that looks very GMC about it. Now,
You think so? I think it's pretty classic Ford, personally.
I didn't normally Ford jumps each headlight they do just seems like a leap forward. They really this just looks like they're like, oh crap, we got to do something. Well, hey, janitor, you got? Can you crown something up there? I mean, and I'm not meaning to like to crap on it. It is a good looking headlight, but
I think
it's not as creative as I've seen Ford be in the past.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted to really. I think they've had a really good looking truck here for a while now. I really like the hood.
Mm-hmm.
The hood, it's kind of a cross between it's kind of a cross between the Super Duty style hood.
Yeah.
I like that they brought that over. I love the Super Duty hood.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the headlights. I think those are they basically took their current headlights, jazzed them up a bunch. Excuse me. I will say that the taillights is kind of like a standard thing now.
Right.
Nissan's doing them and Ford's doing them too. We've seen them before, and they're just kind of jazzed up. I think Ford did they kind of designed their truck, but I think a lot of the design and the thought went into a lot of the usability and all the extra stuff that they can smash into this truck.
Right.
And I think that took a little bit more forefront than the full design aspect.
Well,
I think they just kind of updated it a little bit and then put a little bit more energy into all the other stuff that they were doing.
Well, because and we've said this many times on both of these shows. I don't know where technology can only go so far now. Like before you put in a deep fryer in your kitchen and in your sink and everything else in the middle console, infotainment, I think it will always advance, but infotainment is, you've got a tablet there now. You've got your apps. If you want to do anything with your apps, they're all there now. And one of these days, these trucks are going to drive themselves. Like this does have a little bit of that safety feature and lane departure and all that.
I'm sure, yeah.
But the Ford, they did make some headways into this thing, and to me, kind of the thing that I remember when this dropped, and I was watching my buddy Pickup Truck and SUV Talk reveal of this thing, and everybody got excited about that shifter being in the center and how it would fold down and you could flip out into a desk, and everybody was just oh my god, that's really cool. And I think I got a little video popping up here of that, and I don't know, man. It's cool, but now granted, that's only in the higher trims too, Danny. That's not going to be in the kind of lower trim. But I don't know, man. I just felt like, yeah, that's getting a little gimmicky, and then the seats folding down 180 degrees, and it's like they're encouraging people to take a nap in the vehicle now. And I didn't buy an F-150. If I've got this kind of money, especially for a Platinum Edition or King Ranch, I probably can afford a hotel room, guys, or somewhere, a nice bed.
Well, I think they're, I think that there's got to be a point where they're having a brainstorming session. They say, okay, what are we gearing this truck for? Are we gearing this for the American, well-off construction super? Expedition Outfitters, perfect example. He is a construction super. He uses his truck all the time for that purpose, and he has a big cockpit. He spends a lot of time in there. He has his tablet mounts. He's got his little cooler of food in the back, and stuff like that. So for him, I get why he loves his truck, and I've driven his truck before. It's a really great truck. I think weigh in what year your truck is. I'm totally spaced on. I know he has a 5-liter, but it's a great truck. And so I think when you look at all the design features that they put out, they're all geared toward this construction. It's almost like they're all geared towards construction people that are not, they're not necessarily doing they're not pounding nails in the walls, unless they got the entry level version or something like that. But they're running construction sites. Maybe they're picking up some stuff to drop off to their guys. They're on their tablets, their phones, their laptops, coordinating stuff from their trucks, which is, it's like a base station basically for construction, for, heavy equipment, for whatever they're doing. And that constantly kind of comes to the forefront when I see all the design features. So it really feels like when they sat down to design it, they said, we need somebody that, or we're marketing this towards the, male construction super.
And the video's popping now for you guys where that flip down work center is. And I think that's neat. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like,
I think it's a cool feature.
I
there
think
may
Danny,
be some.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just think that feature is gimmicky, and the real gimmick part is they don't need a center shifter. All the lower trims, you still get the column shifter, and this would have worked with a column shifter. Like,
I get what you're saying, Dave. As far as making that feature more user friendly, of course, I totally agree. An electronic shifter, but I think that they know that people hate column shifters and buttons in like the Ram style, like selector shifters. You hate that. Everybody hates them.
But why did and of course we're Nissan guys. Why did Nissan go from a column or a floor shifter basically to a column shifter? It was because they were chasing what that market was doing, and now it's like that market's like, hey, F you guys, we're going back to this where you were.
And you know what? Even for me, way back, I looked at F-150s way back, and one of my big things is I wanted the center console shifter. It just it felt like in my truck, in any truck that I've driven, it's so much better to have that shifter right there. For some reason,
yeah, you like to put your hand on it.
It feels so much better than the column shifter. So,
but wait till that column shifter that folds down suddenly doesn't fold down or doesn't fold back up, and then you're stuck in a parking lot or somewhere, because always with this kind of goofy new tech, you're somebody out there is going to be the guinea pig for this,
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a certain amount of testing that they do that, they say this thing will do this, 400,000 times before it breaks or something like that. So
oh yeah,
hopefully they put the testing in for all the stuff. I mean, Ford's pretty good about most of that stuff. They're not, they're not known as a trash brand. Most of their stuff works pretty well. And, but let's that's a cool feature. I would say let's move on to one other feature that I think is really cool, which is the onboard inverter.
Well, yes. So what? And that's only available in what they call the Power Boost edition. And there it is, actually on the video right now. It showed the little logo on the side of the truck. The Power Boost edition gives you a generator that will pump out 2.0 kilowatts of electricity with the optional gas engine. Now, I didn't get deep into that because, once again, these are it's neat, but it's kind of weird. I get, like you were saying, contractors maybe want that. I don't know. But
they do. I can tell you how Raul was excited about it.
Oh, really?
Having some serious voltage power to be able to run. Let's just say you want to run a table saw off the back. Maybe a handyman's got it in his nice truck. He's got it. The entrepreneur handyman that's running a table saw off the back of his truck or something like that. It makes again, it kind of goes back to what I said. It makes these trucks kind of sit in that. When they designed that truck, they thought about what would it be nice. What would you want? If you had a dream sheet of what you would want as this, type of vehicle.
Well, and I'm sure they went to I'm sure they went to construction sites, Danny, and was like, "Hey,
yeah, I'm sure there was focus groups and whatnot." But they probably had focus groups for the Bronco, and they said, "Okay, you're going to be off-roading and overlanding. What do you want?" And then they said, the F-150, they brought in construction soups, they brought in, handymen, they brought in all these guys, and they said, "What do you want?" And so I think they did their very best to find ways to integrate a lot of, little little tech that those things aren't new as far as like, people put them in their trucks all the time,
Right.
but some of them are new as far as like, or well, a lot of this stuff is fairly new as far as like a
Oh,
production vehicle that's coming out.
there's Raul. Oh my God, the inverter is a game changer.
I told you. I remember him messaging me when we were. I think we were watching the reveal or whatever. He's like, "Dude, did you see this thing has an inverter or whatever?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, seriously.
Yeah, but
it's more for him." But
yeah, well, but here's the thing, man, and you can see like the little tailgate here. The video's playing. It's showing. Oh, you can put your pencils here, and they don't blow off, or your phone, which is neat. And then it shows it's got the built-in measuring stuff, which is all gimmicky. Don't get me wrong, it's cool, but the average person is never going to use this stuff. Yes, contractors will use this.
I don't agree, Dave. I don't agree. I think that if you get that package, I think you're going to use it. I don't think it's. I think some of the things there. I think there's gimmicky things, but I don't think it's going to be.
Well, what happens when that generator goes out? Normally, you got a generator that you take to the job site, you drop it off, and you use it, and if it breaks, you either go buy a new one or you get it repaired. This one, you got your whole truck you got to take in to go get it repaired.
Well, that's true. It's something to think about, but maybe they have a really good generator. I don't know.
Well, I would hope so. I mean, I would hope so if they've thought about this, but
the ability to run hand tools, whether it's plug-in hand tools or maybe you're plugging in battery packs and you want to run a little skill saw off the back of your truck or something like that. I know it'd be terrible for me to run a skill saw off the back of my truck because I'd cut my tailgate.
Yes, we've seen your videos of you.
Have you seen any of my woodworking skills? That the cut twice measure sometimes is usually the way to go. So I don't think I should be doing any kind of skill sawing near a truck bed. But
no, yeah, if you guys haven't seen, Danny cut a table nearly in half by just forgetting that there was a table.
I gave it a leaf.
But let's see. So there didn't give us a ton of motor options. Now, knowing Ford, they're not going to take away any the current the 2.3, the 2.7, the 3.5, the 5. Like Ford is known to have like a plethora of engine options. But they did say that this one was going to get a hybrid version, and they're targeting. Now, I love this marketing talk. The hybrid V6 is available in all trims, and they're targeting a range of 700 miles.
Yeah,
I love that we're
and I think the horsepower is TBD as well.
Yes,
if I remember right. I think it's pretty cool that they're offering the 3.5 EcoBoost. I think that's the Raptor motor, if I remember right. That's a 450 horsepower motor, 510 foot-pounds of torque. That's a beast of a motor in that truck, which I'm sure you'll see that in the big trims and stuff like that. The lower version of that is so there's the lower version and there's the high output version. I believe the lower version is 375 horsepower, 470 foot-pounds of torque. So those are pretty cool engine options. I believe they also offer, what is it, that 3-liter Power Stroke diesel.
Well, they did this previous year, but Ford officially hasn't came out and said anything what options.
Yeah,
none
of these are officials, but these are. I think they alluded to the fact that they're going to have like six or 7 engine options, if I remember right.
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
And you can go to Ford's website, and right now it's still under concept vehicles that you can kind of look at, but you can't really build or anything. Which I do actually expect. I know I want to say they've taken or they've done some pre-orders or something. I'd have to talk to a buddy who works over at Ford on that, but I know that there's some pre-orders ready to go on this, and they may have dropped the like they do with Bronco, did a kind of a pre-order. Not that I mean, is there super F-150 fanboys out there besides Raul that's would throw down $100 to be one of the first to drive the next F-150 when it seems like they remake the F-150 every 2 years? So that's the next thing, that some of these features that we were talking about, you would kind of expect in like a 250 or a 350, because those are definitely commercial targeted vehicles that people are, construction sites and stuff. But I guess it is sort of nice that they are offering this in the F-150 now. And like you said, maybe your handyman wants this, that it's good for him. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of guys that can't afford the F-250 because those things get expensive. I mean, I get it. You kind of get up in the top range of the F-150 or up in 250 range. But, if you want all the bells and whistles, but you can't quite get into the F-250 with all the bells and whistles, it's just kind of the progression. So maybe that's, obviously it's
Well,
something that they think about.
Well, do you so as a contractor, would you rather have, Danny? Would you rather have a F-250? And I'm throwing out a number. I'm just throwing out a number, guys. Do not hold anything to this. Say that you had $50,000 to drop on a nice Ford F-150 or 250. Would you rather have the very capable F-250 maybe with a nicer Power Stroke diesel or something like that, or would you rather spend that $50,000 on the lesser F-150 with all these kind of knickknacks?
Well, I mean, it's really personal preference because I would have to get the F-250 with the 6.7 diesel, with a couple less gizmos, just because I do a lot of towing. I mean,
Right.
or I'm going to be doing a lot of towing.
But if they are going for we'll say like all these little cool gimmicky things, if that is aimed towards the contractors generally, the ones I know and deal with, they're always towing something. Now, granted,
Yeah.
the
Well,
EcoBoost engines they do pretty good towing now. I'm not crapping on that by any
yeah,
means, but
and the towing numbers seem to always be going up. Whether it's 200 to 500 pounds, it seems like every year they keep figuring out a way to get them a little bit more beast mode into the towing packages. But the F-250 is not going to ride quite as smooth. It's going to be a little bit stiff unless you are towing.
right.
So yeah, and Expedition Outfitter makes a good point though. He says,
I see one of his points.
Look, as much as I love it, if they're too damn expensive now, I'll keep my paid off truck, which is, that makes sense
Right.
if they get too expensive. But
Well, full size trucks,
be...
trucks in general, Danny, have went nuts. Like price wise, like Ford's definitely going to have $100,000 truck that they've already kind of gotten close to that. Ram is pushing that 100,000 mark. Especially with the TRX, they were definitely pushing it. Raptor's already kind of pushing that, and we haven't even got into Raptor as far as Raptors. The next generation Raptor is coming along with this one, and we'll save that for another time. But Raptor, they're even talking two different options in motors, like very Ford like we've got to over option everything,
for sure.
but I think overall I think it's a great looking truck. Ford always hit a home run with their trucks. Between them right now, I mean, I think GMC with especially the AT4 package is a very nice looking truck. I haven't been a fan of the Silverado in a long time, but I actually like this new version, especially like the Trail Boss. I really like it. I think it's a good looking truck.
I think the Trail Box looks like butthole. I think I hate the Chevy styling personally.
I don't normally
no matter what they would. No matter what they do to it, I really dislike them. Especially when I see them on the road, I like them even less personally. And that a lot of that comes down to personal preference. But
right. Well, I think Ram has made such headways too that it sort of scared these other guys because in this truck now Ford's going to offer the 12-inch screen. And it's if you look at I wish I could have a picture up of this right now, but if you look at the center stack of this thing and look at a Bronco, like all the gauges and everything are very similar. Even where Ford's going to put the lockers and stuff in these trucks, it's all very similar up on the dash. But Ram has done such a 180 with their interiors, and people just went nuts once they dropped that 12-inch screen and went high end with their interiors, like. Ford, that's one thing I will say. Ford's always been sort of at the bottom of the big three list is their interiors. Now, their Platinums and stuff are nice, don't get me wrong, but Ram really kicked it up such a notch. I always thought before Ram did that, Chevy and GMC always had the nicer interiors. But
you think so?
That's just, it's my opinion. But I've owned some of these F-150s, and I had an I had a 97 brand new XLT. It had the 3.6 or 3.8 V6 in it, manual transmission. Now, once again, XLT is not like their most plush version, but when I was looking at that or the Chevy, the only thing that swayed me to the Ford was because it was like $1,500 cheaper or something, and you got the same features.
I always thought the Chevys had the most disgusting, terrible
You just
interior.
hate Chevy.
Right?
Wow.
I really dislike a lot of Chevy stuff.
Hey, GM, when it comes test drive time, you heard that Danny doesn't like.
Yeah,
like.
you change my mind. I think Ford has been right in the middle of the road with their interiors. I think they've been pretty solid. They've been I haven't ever thought a Ford interior was terrible by any means. I thought it was always kind of like Dodge, Chevy, Ford, as far as interiors. And then I do think Dodge has taken over the number one spot from which is crazy because they came from the bottom. I think Chevy, they did kind of up their game. You know, they were on par with Ford for quite a while.
Right.
But
hey Dan, can you do can you do a solid here? Your buddy, he's just itching to. Can we call him? Will he answer his phone?
Let's see. He might be. Let's see.
Let's see if we can get Raul. Now, Danny's going to have to do what I normally do, hold the phone up to the mic. But I've seen so many like, oh, my God, I should have been in this conversation. Like, it's killing him that he's not a part of this.
I know he was bummed about the fact that he's like, oh, dude, he's in the middle of dinner. I'm like putting my bed together and stuff like that. So let's see if we can get him on the phone.
Oh, this is the groundbreaking.
I want him to
podcasting.
weigh in.
Yo.
Hey, buddy, you're on the show right now.
Okay, hold on. Let me take off my earphones. I'm trying to listen to it.
Oh, you're gonna want to listen to this.
Oh my gosh, guys.
Sounds good, Danny. It sounds good.
I kind of want to get your let's hear your opinion. Of course, you're a diehard Ford guy. You've had like 90% Fords for the last however many years, with like one Jeep in there. But what's your opinion? First off, what's your opinion on the interior when compared to all the other trucks over the last 10 years?
You know, you have to remember that the majority of people that are buying Ford trucks are people that are using it for work. So I actually commented on this, that we don't need super nice interiors. We need interiors that are going to last the abuse.
Yeah.
Which is what we mostly get. When you go to the Lariats and Platinums, those aren't usually contractors, or they're the bosses.
Yeah.
Other contractors.
Yeah.
And they can have nicer interiors, but generally, I would say Ford's more in the middle ground. Dodges have always been a piece of crap. They always fall apart, and Chevy is just Chevy.
Wow.
He's the same opinion as far as on the Chevy. Chevy changed my mind, man. Send me out to a ride and drive, and maybe we can feel a little bit better about it.
I hate that he can't hear me here, but he is like you SoCal guys are just such GM haters over there.
A little bit. Well, me and Raul both have that Ford history as well, so that doesn't help anything.
Right.
What do you think, Raul? What do you think about the styling on the new truck? Are you into it? I mean, you commented and I commented about it. How it, it's got a lot of F-250 Super Duty look with the hood, with the door windows, kind of with the up, the up channel in the window a little bit. What do you think about the new interior? Yeah.
Yeah, I think back when you look at like my generation F-150s and before.
What year do you have again?
Different. 2012.
Okay.
So you could definitely tell a difference between a Super Duty and F-150, but nowadays, especially with the Ford, you kind of can mistaken them.
Yeah, like a second look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, if you just kind of look at it, they almost look identical. But I think it looks great.
Nice. Yeah. And and we touched on it. I know you were commenting like crazy, but all the little features with the the fold down shifter, the inverter. I know that you were texting me when it first came out, and you were like, "Hey, check, this thing's got this thing's got that. Did you see this?" And of course, for you, it's different because this is literally in your wheelhouse. They're building these trucks for people specifically like you. So which ones hit the mark, and which ones where you're like, that's not really going to be great?
Definitely the generator and the fold down desk. Like, I drive probably 120 miles a day, and I'm constantly having to use my iPad or my laptop and trying to maneuver that between my center console and my lap. It's kind of a pain in the ass. But when I saw that, I'm a column shifter guy. I like column shifters. I don't like the shifters in the center console. But when I saw that whole thing drop down and you can make it desk, I was like, that's a game changer. Just for me alone and contractors that I know that I spend a lot of time driving.
Right.
And the generator, I know Dave says that it's this, I can't remember what he said, but there's this thing. for the generator, you know, you go to these job sites, especially when they're first beginning, you probably don't have any power, and then when you do, you'll probably have like 4 outlets for 6 contractors.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Especially like in the beginning of the jobs and stuff. Until you start.
You can have a little outlet there.
Yeah, that's a legitimate thought too. Yeah, and that's again, I kind of go back to the whole, like, I'm sure they had a focus group where they were saying, hey, what do you guys want, and if Raul was there, that's probably what he'd probably be given, this dream sheet and some of the things that they ended up sticking in the truck.
Well, what are some of the things he doesn't like?
When, as a contractor out here in Southern California, it might be different out east, but
yeah,
when you go to the job sites, you mainly see Ford.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I just in my automotive service experience, a lot of most of the guys that I see that are kind of in your position or whatever are usually driving Ford, and the bosses too. They're driving the King Ranches because they like that plush stuff, but on top of that, these trucks get a lot of miles put on them just driving around to job sites and stuff like that, especially like you were saying, 120 miles a day, if not more, because you're all over LA. And again, it might be different for different parts of the country, but we're a pretty heavy construction industry out here because California is just building nonstop.
Or people are leaving, the last I heard.
Yeah, well, people are leaving. Yeah, that's for sure. But anything that you saw that you were like, that's a gimmick, that's not really something I care about at all.
The 12-inch screen, I mean, I could just see that thing at night, just burning my eyes trying to drive, or, stuff flashing on it. I don't think most contractors or people in the industry are going to want a 12-inch screen. I was happy with the 16-inch screen that was in the Gen 3 sync system.
Yeah.
Which is perfectly fine. It's big enough to use as navigation, and your tune, and that's about it. I do like that they do have the integrated, which is going to be extra, but the Wi-Fi feature
right
in it, so you can actually,
hotspot yourself, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. That's that's pretty big. And there's a lot of vehicles that do that now, but that should be standard on most trucks, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I can totally understand that, especially if you're sitting in your truck and you're shooting emails, you're basically sending files back and forth for architectures and stuff like that. Architects, not architectures.
I love
man.
I love Danny's smart talk.
Also, I want to put it in 50K is not enough, Dave.
Yeah. Raul just said, yeah, you hear that.
F-250 maybe.
Well,
I bought my Super Duty in 2003. It was 45K.
So here's the pricing. Here's the pricing thoughts on this. Is from Car and Driver, which take it with a grain of salt. Usually, the Car and Driver, I think, I think it's a reputable source. They're saying the XL starts at 30, XLT 36, Lariat 46, King Ranch 58, Platinum 60, and the Limited 72. I think those numbers are a little bit low, but that's
those
that's
are
their
base numbers.
Yeah, those are kind of base numbers. I'm sure you could probably get a truck for $80,000 at least, when with everything and maybe a couple extra, bells and whistles.
Hey, I'm curious.
That seems really low. Those might be just the versions of the, no full.
Yeah, again, I think these are projections Car and Driver did. I don't know how how much work they put into getting those numbers.
Hey, Danny, ask him this.
I was actually looking like a week ago, an XLT 2020 four-wheel drive was about 40.
Yeah. Dave's got a question. Say it again,
Dave.
So
so I'm curious what his impression is of these EcoBoost engines. Okay. Yeah. So what are your impressions?
I'm gonna let you know. Give me a second.
The impressions of that EcoBoost and idling, because I know with me on construction sites, my trucks always idle forever. They probably during a day idle more than they drive at times.
Yeah, no, that's a good
how
question.
Are they hanging? In his opinion, are these trucks hanging with that?
So Dave's wondering how do these trucks? You sit and idle all day at places or something like that. With the new EcoBoost, what's your thought on that with longevity and wear an engine where it's just the truck's sitting there idling all for quite a while? Or do you think and how does that go into if you're running stuff off the truck, if it's sitting there idling for a long time, a diesel's one thing, but if it's a little 6-liter EcoBoost, which I'm sure you're probably on some forums or Facebook groups about the trucks and the motors. What's your thoughts on that?
I am not a fan of the EcoBoost at all.
Yeah.
We had my 2017 Ford Escape had a 1.5 liter EcoBoost that the dealer had for 6 months. They ended up putting a new engine, new transmission on it, and then Ford bought it back under a lemon law. But the EcoBoost came out in 2009, I believe.
Yeah.
So they've been out a lot. So there are vehicles, trucks and EcoBoosts that have a ton of miles on them, which is the reason why they're putting them in everything. Like the Ranger, you can only get the EcoBoost out of it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume that they've checked them and
worked out. Yeah, worked out the kinks.
Yeah, they'll work out. I'm just personally not a fan of the EcoBoost just because it's just, twin turbos. It's one more thing to break. I just like, and they don't, when I step on the accelerator, I want it to sound like a V8.
Right. Yeah, no, I can totally understand that.
Danny,
for sure.
Danny, one more question for him is: so what's it going to take to get you into a Nissan Titan?
All right, so Raul, what would it take to get you into a Nissan Titan from your current truck?
Assuming that money's not.
Yeah.
I haven't driven one, and they're 6-speed, correct?
Now they're 9-speed.
9-speed.
7 or 9-speed.
What would it take? If money wasn't an issue and I could get the Pro 4X, especially that tan one you sent me a picture of that's all fixed up.
Yeah, Milo's.
Pretty easily because money's not an issue.
Yeah.
If I'm spending my own money, I'm going to stick with the brand that I know.
Yeah. I get it. Well, thanks for weighing in, dude. I appreciate you jumping away from the barbecue and fixing beds and stuff. I know you got a long list of honeydews I'm sure you're trying to knock out before the weekend's over, but thanks for weighing in. I wish we had you on the show. We'll for sure get you on another one, maybe when the Raptor pops out or something like that, or we have some other Ford stuff to chat about.
Or my Bronco breaks down. I'll need it.
Yeah, when Dave's Bronco breaks down, we'll have you on to chat about that as well.
All right, guys.
All right, bud. Take it easy. See ya.
Well, there you go, guys. Like, you never know when you're going to get your chance to be on the show. I enjoy it. Like, me and Raul, we have a little private conversation that on Facebook we talk every once in a while and kind of talk smack. So that's I do enjoy having him on. Now, Danny, let's get to a few questions because I don't know much what more we could kind of hash out with that truck till Ford gives us some options to kind of chew on. It's a lot of speculation right now. So first off, Rumesh asks, how come they do not have any engine options for the Ranger? Well, in my opinion is Ford was a little iffy on the Ranger. They knew they were a little late getting back into the mid-size market. They had a global Ranger that they could pull from.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, engine options were a little different. That's generally a diesel engine in Australia where that truck was developed for. So they were taking sort of a chance. And Ranger really does steal sales away from F-150. Like I know a lot of Ford guys like Raul who are just Ford guys, and there's nothing wrong with that. And at some point they might go, well, I'm going to try the Ranger, because a lot of mid-sized trucks are pretty capable anymore. So I think they were taking a chance with that, and they didn't want to offer too many options.
Yeah, I think that there was a lot of talk about the 3.3 liter or the 3 liter that the Mustang had, that being an option with a little bit more horsepower and a little bit more torque as well. My personal opinion is I think they brought the Ford back as it is right now. Yeah, I drove it. It was a good truck. I think I've weighed in. I thought the rear suspension was trash. I think that truck with an Icon kit. I've talked to Jeremy a couple times about it. I think that truck with a decent little suspension kit on it just totally changes the truck. It had some really cool little features, that to make it a much more up-to-date truck than what was currently on the market. But I do think that they kind of brought it out in almost like a limited fashion with with one engine, almost like to test the market and see where they wanted to go with it. Because if you have 6 engine options in the F-150 and you have one in the Ranger, you think there's definitely going to be something happening in the second generation Ranger,
right?
And in true Ford fashion,
I guess I've
already heard mutterings about the well, it's not going to be the second gen Ranger. It's going to be the whatever gen we're on
Fourth or
now. You know,
fifth, yeah.
47th. I can't keep track of Ford because they're like, oh, you know, if you look at F-150 like Facebook groups, it's like 16th gen Ford F-150 group. You're like, I can't even figure it out. We're easy in the Nissan world because we're like, oh, this is the second gen. You know,
Yeah.
It's been around for 30 years.
Well,
but,
and with Bronco Danny coming out, it's on the new Ranger platform, and they've talked a little bit about that, but a lot of people are kind of breezed past. They just say here Ranger platform, they're like, oh, it's the current Ranger platform. No, it's a new platform for the next gen Ranger. So
right, which I can definitely see that.
And the Ranger already looks old, honestly. And I like it. I think it's a good looking vehicle, but we've seen that in Australia for how many years now? Much like everybody wanted the Navara for the Frontier to come up here.
Yeah, and
I think
Ford will probably box that out a little bit more in the future. I think they're going to kind of bring it back to some of that, you know, I don't know if I'd call it a masculine look, but a little bit less of the European look. That's my hope. I think if you were to bring in a focus group about, you know, about a design focus group, people would probably say, let's sharpen up some of these body lines, make it look a little bit less like a ridge line, a little bit more like an F-150.
Right.
And if they did that, I think it would sell better. You know, I think if they gave you, I could see them putting some kind of hybrid motor in it. You know, it gets some crazy gas mileage or something like that. I wouldn't put it past them at all.
Yeah, and let's see. Flying J asked if we had any Frontier news, and nothing right now. I talked with a source recently, and he said it's like very soon. So that's all he would tell me right now. So,
and as far as the 2021 F-150, I think I read it, but I don't know if you have. When's the release, or when are they releasing? When it's going to be for sale? Do you know? Did they say? I wanted to say it was in the fall. They were going to say, hey, this is when it's going to be for sale. Are we projecting this 2021, beginning of 2021?
Right. Guys, and I didn't realize the volume on those videos was so loud, so I apologize for that. Said they could barely hear us talk. No, I haven't. I can do a quick search on that, Danny, because
We'll go off what I read earlier, and that I can barely remember, but I'm almost sure that it was a late fall. They were going to announce basically specs and numbers and you know, prices and stuff like that. You know, finalized stuff that obviously they're probably working on. They're crunching numbers. They're doing their EPA tests or whatever to make sure that everything, you know, is above board, that they can publish. And then my guess is going to be early 2021. You know, release dates as far as maybe hitting dealers.
I'm thinking, honestly, Danny, I'm thinking it's going to be late fall, early winter when you can get this truck. Ford,
really?
They've got 2 plants on this thing.
You do.
And I will say this: they've made sure that this truck was built in America too, which I'm very happy about.
That's really cool. That's a big deal right now.
Yeah, because a lot of these guys are sending because trucks are such a high profit margin on them. So a lot of these guys have been sending their stuff to Mexico, which, you know, good for Mexico.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about how Ford, you know, they were doing a lot of stuff in Mexico, and then they moved a lot of stuff back in the States.
Right.
But a USA made truck is a huge deal, especially for somebody that's buying a Ford. You know, they're expecting a large portion of that truck to be made in America, you know, by buying a domestic truck, you know.
Right. Let's see. Expedition Outfitter says usually the releases happen around November. He said, but because of COVID, they still have a lot of 20s on the lot. I will say I can't buy that there's a lot of 20s on the lot, because I know everybody, like my local Ram dealership, dude, they're scraping the barrel to keep vehicles on the lot.
Really?
Yeah, like and especially because it's a Ram, Jeep, Chrysler, everything mixed. I know Jeeps are hard to find right now in my area. Like because everybody had a little bit of extra money with COVID, they were buying.
Everybody got put on unemployment. And now they're making more money.
Well, that and they were offering 90-day before your payment
90 day no payment.
Yeah,
people hoping they get back to their job. Let me say this too, Dave, is we may see a spike. We may see a big spike in mid-size we're in the mid-size truck market, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's like mini truck, mid-size, and like well, no, this is a full-size truck market, because you cannot find an RV dealership that has any more than like 4 or 5 trailers in stock anymore.
Yeah.
If you go, and maybe this isn't just me, but people are buying RVs or RV travel trailers and stuff like that, like they're made out of platinum.
Yeah.
They are crazy. I mean, I've talked to about, and because I have a travel trailer that I bought about a year ago, I've talked to a lot of people with them and stuff like that, and they're like, "Man, I'm thinking about selling mine because I can make a profit on it." Can you imagine making a profit on a travel trailer? It's like the most depreciating. It's like a boat, like you don't make profits off that stuff. My sister just sold her massive monstrosity. They had it for like 5 years. They didn't make a profit off it, but they didn't like lose a bunch of money on it, which is, it's unheard of. So we might see a spike in larger trucks because all these people are buying them, and they're like, well, my little Escape isn't quite towing this trailer as well as I thought. Just because I maxed out the trailer tow weight on this thing. Now it's squatting and it can barely make it up a hill.
Right.
It'll make it, but it's not supposed to. So we might see that translate over because things are closed, and so all of a sudden people are like, well, at least I can go camping, and if I'm gonna go camping, I need a trailer. And now I got a trailer, and this, whatever I got's not quite cutting it. Let's pick up something. That they're talking about a 13,000 pound projected tow rating for, with depending on what motor you get and combination or whatever.
Right.
But 13,000 pounds, that's a big travel trailer. So we may see a spike in that just due to so many people.
Well, yeah,
upgrading that.
I've read about like ATVs, jet skis, everything right now. Like people went nuts for that.
Yeah,
stuff.
Recreational vehicles are on the rise right now.
So
I would say that they were doing really well, just because the economy was doing pretty well up until COVID popped off. I think they were doing really well coming in COVID, and then it's kind of a weird thing where businesses are going out of business because small businesses are getting kind of wrecked right now, restaurants and whatnot. But at the same time, the average Joe that's working for a corporation that maybe now they're just working from home and they can't really do anything, they're still getting paid the same amount. So It's a super weird time, and we'll kind of see how it shakes out.
Well, guys, if you have any final questions before we get off here, pop them up. Danny, I want to say one thing, and I don't know if I've talked to you about this. So over on Nissan Nation Production side, our sister channel, Tuesday we're gonna do live coverage of the new Z Proto launch.
Yes.
And I'm hoping to do something like what you see here, a live stream, and then have the video actually up with us, so we can all talk about it.
We can live chat about it.
Yeah. Which is, unfortunately, Danny, for you, 7:30 Central Time is when that's popping out. But
I'm okay with that.
But I'm going to start actually the stream around 7 p.m. if any of you guys are interested in. I know this is kind of a trucky channel, but really, this All Terrain Nation is that's kind of we set
all terrain.
Yes, we kind of set
roads
this up.
Count.
Yes, for everything. But I want everybody to join us in on that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and more details I'll pop off tomorrow and for that Tuesday launch. I also want to say we're over 230. Let's see. I'll give you an actual what we're at right now because
subscriber count.
Yes, 235 subscribers on here right now, which I want to say
awesome.
Thank you to everybody because this channel is just right at a month old.
Which is quite amazing for channels, for somebody just starting a channel, trying to get it off the ground. The first 1,000 is really actually quite hard.
Yes.
So I'm really happy with all of our, the people that follow us, our friends and people that are, interested in what we're doing. So I'm stoked about that. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. And also, guys, if like I was saying earlier, I posted something on one of the Bronco pages that a lot of people disagreed with. Guys, these are generally our opinions. Unless I know something like for factual, some insider information, we have opinions on this, and it's okay to disagree with me and Danny's opinions on these things. It's it's not the end of the world. It happens, but like with anything, if you do have something, be constructive. Don't just say, "Hey, you guys are a pile of crap." There was some of those comments today, and I was just like, or like that we're just
Let's have a conversation about
Yeah.
it. Don't just take a dump down my throat.
Yeah. Thanks, internet world, for brightening my day. If you guys
Because in truth, Dave, they could offer some really good information that we may not know about, but instead of giving a decent argument and or proving us wrong, instead of just saying you're dumb and you don't know anything.
Yep.
Just tell me why, and don't call me dumb.
I was told that I was trying to be internet famous, and I was like, guys, I was internet famous way before way before this channel.
Yeah.
So
we're really big fish in a tiny pool already, bro.
Yeah.
We're just making our pool bigger.
That is true. Danny, any final words before nobody doesn't seem to have any questions?
Nothing special. I'm dropping that video on my Degree X YouTube channel for the race stuff, so go check that out. You should be able to see that. I might do a live video later this week. So swing by, say hi, and we'll chat about race stuff.
Drop a super chat for Danny. Danny's yet to get a super chat on his channel.
I haven't done any live stuff, so I finally got super chat enabled, monetizable. So yeah, I'd love for you guys to hop in and get your 2 cents about all the race world stuff. I'm gonna try and talk a little bit more about desert racing, because that's my passion. I love it, and we'll chat about desert racing, where I'm at with the race truck, and I should be getting new wheels on my red truck coming up pretty soon. So keep an eye out for that on my YouTube channel.
You'll have to drop a video on your red truck on this channel, Danny. Some of these people may not know about your red truck.
They may not know yet, man. So maybe we'll do a little bit of that.
Nice. Well, guys, you guys have been kind of quiet tonight. Frank B, I hope we talked enough F-150 for you, sir. That was just for you. I mean, we would have done it anyways, but you did want to know about some F-150 news. And once again, guys, we do live Sundays here, which me and Danny are talking about actually moving the Sundays to a Monday night, because we don't want to.
Because I wanted to watch my Rams tonight. Yeah. Dave stuffed me.
There is Sunday night. Like nobody cares about Monday Night Football, but Sunday Night Football is the big one. So we don't want to get into that.
I'm only pissed when my teams are playing.
Right.
When the other junky teams play, I don't care about it.
I want to say my Bengals didn't disappoint me today. They lost by 3 points, so
Yeah, I'm a Rams fan until the Bengals start winning again.
Oh man, guys! So from all things trucks, SUVs, and whatever you've got in your garage, bicycles, I don't care, man. This has been your All Terrain Nation, and Danny, what are we?
Peace, everybody. We're out.
Peace, everybody. Hey, see y'all Tuesday, September 15th, 7 p.m.